Bruce Wayne was inspired to become Batman when a bat flew through his window while he was contemplating how to strike fear into the hearts of criminals, for they are a superstitious and cowardly lot. A lot of things about Batman have stayed the same from the beginning, or just been very lightly tweaked, especially surrounding his origin. Batman first debuted in Detective Comics 27 in 1939, but his origin was given in issue 33 later that same year, and then it would be expanded upon even further. But in issue 33, the groundwork was laid. Criminals are a superstitious, cowardly lot, so my disguise must be able to strike terror into their hearts. I must be a creature of the night, black, terrible, As if in answer, a huge bat flies in the open window. A bat, that's it. It's an omen. I shall become a bat. And thus is born the weird figure of the dark, this avenger of evil, the Batman. You know, the determiner in front of his name sounds a lot better when you say it in that context. The Bat costume. That iconography coupled with a simple but hard-hitting and identifiable / understandable and sympathetic origin would stand the character in good stead. Which isn't to say that there aren't things to discuss about it, or that there aren't some elements of it that have a bit of a silly edge when you put it under a microscope. I like that I put a magnifying glass there but said microscope. On the surface, a random animal flying through at just the right moment can strike as silly, especially when the character would eventually over many years come to have a darker, more adult tone. And so at times people have a little bit of fun by poking at this aspect, making light of it a little bit. And not just the fans. There is an entire short story created surrounding the idea of what if Bruce Wayne had been inspired by something else, another animal or object. Who would he have become? I'm Sasha, this is Casually Comics, and let's find out. Let's see what the Bronze Age thought would be a little funny when it came to poking fun at Batman's origin. For this, we need Batman 256 from 1974, so early in the Bronze Age, near the start. This issue is a larger one with a higher page count as was going on at the time. Here we're getting 100 pages for 60 cents. Sign me up. Now this issue is interesting for a couple of reasons. One, the lead story, Catwoman's Circus Caper by Denny O'Neil. It features one of the few outings of the Frank Robbins Catwoman costume, the black one inspired by the Golden Age heroine, the Black Cat. We did a whole video on that costume. I'll link it below. The evolution of Selina's costumes are fascinating and I love talking about them. On the whole, it's a fairly standard caper, but it does end with Bruce having angst, lamenting the fact that the women he's drawn to are criminals. Later, at the Batcave, you're looking pretty glum considering our highly successful night. I've been thinking, Robin, how Catwoman always causes evil, even without intending to. That's her curse. Also, I pulled up this picture of Talia beside her. As for me, whenever I meet a woman I can care for, she's an enemy. And that's my curse. Just looking at Catwoman's costume there, so does he update the costume every time she changes her outfit? I sure hope so. This issue also promises to tell the origin of the more standout items in the Batcave, namely the dinosaur, the mummy case, and the giant penny, which this issue claims is the standout. The rare few who have seen the incredible Batcave's trophy room agree that our most intriguing memento is the giant penny, which was involved in the following case. As some of the rare few who have seen the Batcave, do you concur? We also have a whole video on the giant penny. I'll link it down below. It's in the midst of this, sandwiched in between the origin of the dinosaur and the origin of the penny, that we get our what if Bruce Wayne had been inspired by other things story. It's in a 2-page short story entitled If Bruce Wayne Had Not Become the Batman. Gotta remember that definite article. This short story, or rather humorous thought exercise because it's more a series of vignettes, was written by Martin Pasco, who, fun fact, as part of his strategy to break into comics, became a frequent writer to Letters column, earning the nickname Pesky Pasco because he was often pointing out problems. The Letters column, always a treat. Some people think that all letters were fake. That's not true. Only some of them were fake, but a decent amount of them were real. The art in this is by Pat Broderick, and the entire thing is 5 scenarios riffing on those 3 panels from the Batman origin. We even get them redrawn. The last one is fairly similar, the other 2 have a bit more dynamic art going on. They've also updated his robe. But basically what we have here are stories that restructure those same panels and work from the exact same premise, and even paraphrase the dialogue. Sometimes word for word, sometimes with just a few tweaks. Sometimes the criminals aren't superstitious, they're just cowardly, or vice versa. They also changed the setting, so it's not just other creatures flying through the window at the manor, which is too bad because one is the scorpion, and the image of a scorpion just sailing through the window is amusing to me, like someone threw it at him. By sheer chance, the legendary night-shrouded career of the dread Batman was spawned in an instant encounter with a bat. But suppose for a moment that the omen had been a different creature. We take you now to different locales and different encounters to show you what might have happened. Criminals are a cowardly lot, so my disguise must be able to strike terror into their hearts. I must be a deadly creature. Dangerous, As if in answer, a huge scorpion skitters into the light of the bonfire. A scorpion, that's it. It's an omen. I shall become a scorpion. And thus is born this weird figure of the desert, this incarnation of danger, the scorpion. The scorpion looks kind of cool, but it's no black scorpion yet.
Looks like the gang's all here.
Feel the sting of the black scorpion.
Who else remembers Black Scorpion? Am I alone? Adam West was on Black Scorpion as a recurring villain. Who remembers that? Frank Gorshin was on Black Scorpion. I want to talk about Black Scorpion. But the scorpion isn't the only creature we have. We also get the stingray, which is baffling because he's aquatic based, which can't help Gotham too much that way. Maybe he'll just patrol the harbor. I mean, we all know that nothing good happens at the Gotham harbor front, so he'll be busy. We also have the owl. And my question in that scenario is Bruce a park ranger? If so, why? The Batman of the Crime Syndicate Earth is Owlman, and then decades later you would have the Court of Owls and Talon. It's a bit of a riff on owls hunting bats. They're a predator towards bats, so that kind of makes sense. But also, you have to have a different setting because this is an owl, and an owl also flew into Dr. Midnight's window. It was called Hootie the Owl. Criminals are a superstitious lot who let their lives be dictated by the bidding of lucky talismans, rabbit's feet, witchcraft, trickery. How many wizards are in Gotham? I want to know. I must be a symbol of luck, the good luck of the law, the misfortune of evildoers. As if in answer, a huge shooting star hurtles by the open portal. A shooting star, that's it, an omen. I'll become a shooting star, and when criminals see the shooting star, they'll wish upon it all right. They'll wish they'd never been born. And thus is born this fantastic figure of the night sky, this meteoric nemesis of evil. The shooting star. Well, now we're just reaching the good luck of the law. Why is Bruce in an observatory? What is happening in this universe? I do like how menacing it is, juxtaposed with his bright costume. The whole they'll wish they'd never been born. Vengeance. My beautiful white Nemesis style costume. Or rather, Nemesis has a costume that's kind of like this. Have you been reading the new Nemesis comic? It's kind of fun. No wombs exploding in this one. Lastly, we have him bumping into a suit of armor at the museum. Jinkies. Here he becomes the Iron Knight. It does not look like he can move in that. And so we have the Scorpion, the Stingray, the Owl, the Shooting Star, and the Iron Knight. And then it ends and we move on, and laughs were potentially had. This is a little filler story, some light fare, poking fun at a sillier aspect of Batman's origin, depending upon how you slice it. Although, on the flip side, at times inspiration can come from seemingly asinine occurrences that would sound ludicrous if we recounted them to others. A story like this is a bit reminiscent of one of those Marvel What The sketches. Not quite a what if, it's too short. And it's also just not involved enough, at least for the early what ifs, which would really go off onto entire whole universes built upon these changes. They would be really intricate. That would change as they went on. Because this is a one-note joke that could quickly fall apart if one were to extrapolate universes onto it, or really veer in a different direction that ended up not being like Batman at all. And we're years out at this point from Elseworlds that would give us things like Priest Batman, and Barbarian Batman, and Green Lantern Batman, and Superman Batman, and Vampire Batman, and but this idea did not vanish entirely. In Grant Morrison's Multiversity Guidebook, you can see each of these versions of Bruce Wayne. On Earth 34, we have the Stingray. 35, the Owl, who full on just looks like Owlman. 36, the Iron Knight. 41, the Scorpion, now with a black costume. And Earth 47 gives us the Shining Knight, brooding in the back. Cause remember, they'll wish they'd never been born. This is just a little nod, a very deep cut for people who remember this story. The slight tweak genre of alternate universe, Elseworlds, what ifs, whatever we're calling them stories, is alive and well. And this was just a quick look back at one such brief humorous instance that gave the world some alternate Batmen, some more alternate Batmen. We're drowning in them. Send help. No more Batman. Crisis of Infinite Batman. Time of recording, they revived the Elseworlds imprint, which was dead. Yes, I know some of you were like, it was gone. Yes, it was, and it's back. And half of the stories are Batman. I say this as someone who likes Batman. Please. No more. As for these alternates, which of them sound like they had potential? Or do you think they needed some other inspiration? What would have been funny that they missed out on? What would yours have been? Share your thoughts down below. And while you're down there, please do all the YouTube things like share, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification so that you never miss a vid. Thanks so much for taking some of your day spent discussing comics with me. I always appreciate it, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.